Hello, and welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to share with you the sad news that Anthony Cole, one of the guests, passed away soon after recording Wellbeing Wednesday. Anthony was with me at NACCON, where he was awarded the Peer Specialist of the Year. Anthony was truly an inspiration to so many, including me. He was a beacon of hope, recovery, and compassion. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and find the conversation as inspiring as I did.
How has a dedicated clinic in the Bronx with passionate peer specialists cracked the code of human connection?
What is it that you think is special about this organization?
What makes us so special, I think, is the array of services that we're able to provide for people. We are the largest single-site methadone facility in New York State, serving up to 1,500 patients who have opioid use disorders per day.
With integrated services under one roof, they are still able to meet people where they are.
I go and load my van. It's the VIP van, the black Honda that everybody loves. I load the van and I just put as much supply as I can that I think people need in the Bronx or what they're requesting me. It could be socks, it could be undergarments, it could be a nightgown.
While helping clients navigate a system that often fails, VIP doubled down on peers, continuing to build upon the trust established with the community.
I want people to understand that peers are not just workers. Peers are professionals, and we treat them as professionals in our organization. There are times when patients coming in, the first people they meet with are peers, because that peer can connect and can engage people better than any of us can.
Just being heard sometimes goes a long way, because a lot of times in your life, if you're using or you're going through something, you're not heard.
From triage to veterans groups, peers stitch services together.
And I love when people come in the office and they say, "Hey, Anthony, I met you 5 years ago. I got 3 years clean." I go, "Good, man. Keep it up."
Learn how outreach, empathy, and peer and medical expertise create pathways to recovery. On this episode of Wellbeing Wednesdays.
Welcome, everyone, to Wellbeing Wednesday. I'm Mohini Venkatesh, Chief of Staff at the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, and I'm joined today by two really awesome guests. First up, we have Debian Fletcher-Blake, the CEO of VIP Community Services in the Bronx, New York. And then we have Anthony Cole, who also works at VIP as a state-certified peer. I had the pleasure of visiting VIP last winter, and I had a chance to really check out the organization and get to know the staff better and sit in on a supervision meeting and meet a lot of the clients that were coming through the door that day. VIP Community Services is an FQHC, a certified community behavioral health clinic. They have a methadone clinic and so much more. We'll dig into more details about what they do, but really, I'm so excited to have you both with us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Anthony, welcome to you too.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you both. I feel like we're a group of friends here having a conversation. So
Correct.
Really glad you're here today.
Absolutely.
Debbie, maybe we could start with you. Like I said, I came and visited with you all last winter, but maybe let's start and introduce everyone to VIP. And what is it that you think is special about this organization?
Sure. Thank you, Mohini. Well, we're 50 years old, and 50 years old serving the Bronx and New York City boroughs. We serve even Lower Westchester, and people from New Jersey sometimes come to us. VIP Community Services is a multi-service organization. And what makes us so special, I think, is the array of services that we're able to provide for people. So we are a federally qualified health center, a certified behavioral health clinic that people refer to as a CCBHC. We are the largest single-site methadone facility in New York State, serving up to 1,500 patients who have opioid use disorders per day. We provide housing, we provide shelter, we provide vocational services and harm reduction services, outreach services, and we connect people to services that we don't provide. We provide some specialty services, so pediatrics, ophthalmology, women's health are also included. And so, it's very difficult for the people that we serve because we serve the most underserved people in the Bronx. Over 70% of our patients are below the poverty level, including children. And so when people have to juggle between work and health care and all the other services, then it makes it very difficult for them. And so having all the services in one place, it makes it really, really important for us to be able to deliver these services to people in a way that it's accessible, which is what we do, and also that it is compassionate care and comprehensive. So, people talk about integrated care, and care can't be integrated if it's not comprehensive. And I think that's what makes us so special.
Wow, thank you for sharing that and just the vision that you have for meeting people where they are and providing them the services that they need really in a comprehensive way.
Yeah. We were the first in New York State this year to add a mobile medication unit for people with opioid disorder.
That's right.
Yes, we were the first. And, it's as you say, meeting people where they are. And so we take the services to people because, the overdose epidemic, as you know, it continues, even though we're bending the curve.
Yes, we still have a long way to go.
Long way to go. And there are certain populations where we're really not bending the curve. And so we're taking services to people where they are.
Wow. Well, Anthony.
Good morning. Yeah.
Yes. One of our 2025 Peer Specialist of the Year award winners. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Tell me what this award means to you.
This award has been wonderful. See, when I was thinking about it, I kept self-doubting because, I'm human. And sometimes we self-doubt ourselves. But sitting down and talking with the staff and just talking with clients and patients and seeing change has helped me build the confidence to say, Anthony, you got this. You got to do this. It's not for you. It's for others. Going out into the streets and meeting with people makes my heart warm. Because, I'm not the type to sit in the office and play on the computer because that's not what I do. I'm not good at it. But when I meet people that I see are in distress or even not in distress, I have a conversation with a 70-year-old woman who may have lost her son 10 years ago. It makes me think about, how I feel and how I want to talk to people sometimes and how just being heard sometimes goes a long way because a lot of times in your life, if you're using or you're going through something, you're not heard. When I played football with 70 men in the room, I felt like I was alone. Now I feel like, warm and I feel there's a purpose for me to be out in the Bronx and do what I got to do. What VIP offers is something I don't think any other company in the Bronx offers. And I see the difference. And I see people making change and accepting change.
What does a typical day look like for you at work?
So I'm an early birder because I work 2 jobs. So I work midnight shift, midnight to 8 for the Bronx Hope program. I help people when they get arrested with a 220-03. And a lot of them have a substance abuse. I meet with the cop. I meet with the person. But we're not real busy right now because they're looking for guns in New York City. And then then at 8 o'clock, I show up at VIP. I put my VIP hat on. I have a coffee. And then I talk to the rest of my team. And I check in with Nick and Brenda, 2 awesome people. And I go and load my van. It's the VIP van, the black Honda that everybody loves. I load the van and I just put as much supply as I can that I think people need in the Bronx or what they're requesting me. It could be socks. It could be undergarments. It could be a nightgown. I get clothes donated every morning. They know bring them at 8:30 to the back door of VIP. I put them straight to the van because we don't have the storage space for everything. And my office looks a little clumsy sometimes, but I'm getting better at it. And I work on myself, and I just say to myself, do the best you can today. I get lunches donated. I bring them, bought by VIP, but I call it donated. I bring them, go out to the streets. I see a lady in the park coming out of the woodwork with her kid that she's sending to school. I give him a lunch. She goes, this is what he's going to eat today for lunch. Thank you, Anthony. I was waiting to see if you came by. So Mondays I go to one area. Tuesdays I go to another area. Wednesdays I stay in-house catching up on phone calls, doing the PW paperwork, which, I'm getting better at. It's been 6 years. You got to get better. I'm getting better at, and I check emails, answer phones. Thursday, I go out, and Friday, it's all about making phone calls. I call my veterans to remind them that Wednesday, because I do a group for veterans at 11:30 on Wednesdays because I'm a veteran peer. And I call them and remind them, hey, man, you didn't come this week. What's going on? We missed you. What do you mean you missed me? Come on, man. You sit with us and talk. It's called the Veteran Social Group. We're not here to talk about what happened 70 years ago, which I'm not taking lightly. I said, but let's talk about how we can help you for tomorrow and keep moving on. Because when we tend to stay in the negative, we get negative results.
And Anthony, you supervise other peers, right?
I encourage.
You encourage.
And I coach.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be anyone's supervisor because that's not Anthony. I was a plumber, I was a supervisor, and I had a hard time telling people you got to get off the job site. What I would do is teach them again. I say, this is the way it works so we can pass inspection.
Okay.
And I try to do that with these guys. If you treat people this way, they're not going to look for you. You want them to come to the building and ask for you first. And then you direct them to their provider, and then you say, come with me after. Because they may tell you something they're not telling them because they saw you first. I want you to tell them first. Because they can offer the therapeutic and the more healthier results than I can, because all I'm giving you is my experience. And sometimes that's not enough. And I was taught that at VIP because I thought of it the other way around. Oh, you got to be the first one. You got to be there. You got to make sure they want you. No. Go to your providers. Make your appointments. Come on, we'll go pick up your meds and then we talk. Why are you not getting your meds on your own? What's going on? Why are you not doing this? And it's the tone of voice, the way I talk to people. They seem to feel like, you're like my brother. I go, no, I'm here to encourage you, to help you. I have a brother and a sister. I'm not saying I don't need another one. We can always use a brother and a sister. But I'm here to encourage you and help you because somebody helped me 10 years ago. And when they helped me, it changed my life. I was talking about it the other day, That bus ride when I was coming back, I was telling you about when I was from Florida, when I had been arrested. I think it was 12 years ago. A lot of self-reflection. A lot of saying, man, like I had said in the other day when I had said, I can't live like this anymore. I try to encourage them to make that decision on themselves, on their own, and don't do it for me, do it for you. Because, you got to do it for you.
And Debbie, you can feel Anthony's heart.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what is it like for you to have someone like Anthony on your team?
Well, it's rare that you find people like Anthony who are so open and willing to share. And, you just experience it. You ask Anthony if he supervises. And he said, no, he coaches and he encourages, right? How many supervisors sit in a room and say that? And it's rare that you find people who connect so deeply as Anthony does with people. And it's not only with the patients or the clients or the consumers that he works with or he meets in the streets. It's everybody. It's the staff. People look forward to Anthony being around them. We have AmeriCorps volunteers who look forward to going out with Anthony. Who, after they leave, stay in contact with Anthony because
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, not at all. Because he has that connection, and so when you build a team and you have an Anthony in the middle, it's going to work because he's encouraging folks and he's leading by examples, and so it just makes such a huge difference for us, and it not only for us going externally, but the external environment looking in on us, right? Because people have heard of people coming to the parks just because they know Anthony's going to be there. So they look forward to that engagement. He talked about the veterans and, how they look forward to coming to his social group just to have those conversations. So he's really special to our organization.
And going a little broader here, thinking about peer services in general at VIP, how does it fit into the vision of impact VIP wants to have in the community?
Great question. I think that peer services are more important than a lot of other services. I am a clinician, as you know, and I cannot connect the way a peer can connect. I'm saying it, and any clinician out there, I'm a family nurse practitioner, I've been doing this work for a long time. I've worked on the streets of New York, etc. But I cannot make the same connection as someone who have lived it. That's a different kind of connection. And so when I decided that peers were going to play a significant role at VIP, it's from that experience.
I see.
And it has helped our organization. Peers are professionals. And I want people to understand that peers are not just workers. Peers are professionals, and we treat them as professionals in our organization. They're salaried. They have the same benefits as anyone else. There are times when patients coming in, the first people they meet with are peers, because that peer can connect, can relate, and can engage people better than any of us can.
Wow. Anthony, in your words, how would you say peers impact recovery?
So I remember that when I first went into it was an outpatient program, like an 822, like we have, for substance abuse. They were calling them mentors. And after we changed numbers, we're talking, and I was looking forward to seeing this guy, even though I didn't know him from Adam, And he would say to me, Anthony, man, everybody's calling you and looking for you and talking to you. You should try to become a peer, like a recovery coach. Start at that level. And I said, what? I didn't know what it meant. He goes, you're living it right now, and I didn't understand. And that's what I try to explain to the people. I try to tell them that, when you're managing your life a little better and you're making changes that are safe for you, because I can identify them, I say that's helping yourself with harm reduction skills that you don't know you're using yet. And things get a little better when we're not using, when we're not spending money foolishly, when our wife is not trying to run us over with her car or chase you down the street and argue with you, because it's common, and then you can have different conversations. The peer value to me is I see it in a person's face when they say, hey, my uncle has been using for 40 years. How can I help him? It's going to be hard. If he's on 10 bags a day or something like that, we're going to have to get to modify the number a little lower. Let's try to modify your usage, and then you can do this. And we're going to meet with you. I triage you. I help you meet a targeted case manager if you don't have food stamps or EBT. We try to get that for you. And those are small baby steps that for 20 years they didn't do it. And we do it with the veterans. We get them. We have had a couple of guys come in, take them to the VA and get them services. And now, my insurance is paid for thanks to you guys. I'm getting income. I have stable housing, because it all starts with food, housing. And a lot of it is internal, because they don't think anybody can help because they feel like the system has given up on them. But when I show them the system's not going to give up on you, and we're going to try to get you a resource that I know works. When I have a resource, I call them before I send someone. Because after COVID, it just shut a lot of things down and we didn't know. Oh, Anthony, you sent me over here. Nobody's around. That doesn't happen anymore. Because now I say check. And, when they come back with a positive experience, I keep them on the top of my little list that I have on who to call. And I make sure that they know that if I call that one, hey, Ms. D, can I send him over to you? Yes.
So
it helps.
I think what,
I hope I answered.
Oh, you did, is the stitching.
Yes.
Right? So the peers are stitching the pieces together, right? Like you're sewing a fabric. I love that.
So it's a blanket. Yeah. And the umbrella, I open the umbrella and I go, this is your doctor. This is the peer. This is the therapist. This is health housing, health homes. You got to stay connected. And the biggest step is when they get out of our residence, I tell them, don't stop calling me and looking for me. I'm going to look for you. But there's a lot of us, do your part. Because now you have the skills to do it because you've been 7 months off the streets, 9 months off the streets. Because the streets will take those parts away from you quick. Because you want to go back to what's comfortable. No, Be uncomfortable. Make a phone call. Don't call me at 2 a.m, but call me at a regular time and we can talk. Even if it's just to say, hey, Anthony, I have guys that have been calling me for 4 years and I've worked there 6 years. My uncle and aunts don't call me like that. And we're family in our own way with respect.
And I'm wondering, Debbie Ann, are you seeing the need for peers? Is the demand increasing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think not only is the demand increasing, but the awareness is increasing. And
of their value.
Of their value, yeah. And I think what you're doing here, Mohini, is so important because people can hear from Anthony. They can actually see and experience and hear the value of what peers can do for your programs. And that connection that is needed to help people with mental illness and substance use disorder is that there's nothing to match that we have. There are no medications. Therapy is important, but if there's not that connection with someone who understands what you're going through, it makes it difficult. And sometimes people hesitate to get into treatment or to seek treatment not because there isn't access, but because there's not that connection.
I see.
And, what I experienced treating people on the streets, etc., is that people don't trust the system because the system has not given people reasons to trust it. Oh. And so, you have health centers or clinics or facilities that open today, and in a year they're closed. There's no connection made along the way. And so people can't trust that. You open up your heart, you open up your lives to someone partially, but you don't really open up because the connection's not there. And so peers have become not more valuable. They always were valuable, but I think we did not appreciate the value that they bring to the services that we're providing.
Wow. And, we're having this conversation at a time where people are acknowledging more and more the workforce crisis that is at play, which at National Council we describe as both deeply chronic and also deeply urgent.
Yeah.
So is there a role for peers to play in helping to mitigate the workforce crisis?
Absolutely. I think, people should work at the top of their license and to their license. I mentioned earlier that in our organization, in our CCBHC, the peers do the triaging, right? There's no reason to have a clinician triaging people when you have peers with lived experiences.
Well, and that speaks to that connection piece, too. The peer can really, make the eye contact, have people feel seen right away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so it does help the workforce. We have to think differently. We have to be innovative, and we have to not be so comfortable with what we're accustomed to. And we can't feel threatened that, or we can't minimize the value of people. And I think we have to get over those because we create barriers for ourselves in doing so. And so I think peers are valuable assets to the workforce. They can do so much in the workplace. Things that we have delegated to therapists and counselors and what have you. Peers fill those gaps. And it's not just filling the gaps. I don't want to minimize the role because it's very, very important. But it's their responsibility to do that.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Say something.
Yeah.
So can I give an example?
Of course, yeah.
What you just said with the triage, I had a client come in. She goes, I live in Brooklyn. I just got out of prison 20 years. I want to see a therapist and a counselor in Brooklyn. Can you help me? So she's here to come to us because the court system sent her. So I said, what I could do is call a place in Brooklyn for you to get your help because that's what I do. I give resources. And I said, but I have a feeling they may not be able to see you right away and you want to be seen because you just got And right now is your crucial point. You haven't used in 20 years. You haven't been around bad things in 20 years. Now you're living at a woman's shelter that everything is bad. I said, let's call together 45 days before you can see anybody. Another one, 30 days before you can see anybody. I said, if you can get here, or if you need help getting here, I could give you a Metro card with, a couple of bucks. I said, we can get you within a therapist. And this is the amazing thing, or a counselor within 7 or 10 days. Nobody can do that in the Bronx. No one. And I'm saying it loud because you need to hear this. No one else can do this. And VIP can. And I didn't understand that because I waited 90 days to see a mental health counselor when I got out of prison the first time. And by that time I was using again, and I almost had got arrested twice, but I was able to evade the law at that time. Don't do it. Use VIP. I mean, I'm serious about that. And I learned a lot doing a PHQ-9 and a triage. I had to ask myself those questions. Where are you? Where's your self-care?
And that's so crucial because those screenings
Yes.
that were once, a clinician has to do the PHQ-9,
Right.
the GAD-7, etc. Peers can do that.
Wow.
Peers that's part of the responsibility of peers in my organization.
Wow. Well, Anthony, you've already begun, but I'm wondering if you could share a bit more about your life story and what brought you here, because that is so much of what inspired us in giving you the award this year.
Before I went into the military, I was done with college. I had a job, but I wasn't happy. And I always wanted to go into the military, so I went in as a second lieutenant, 21 years old. And I needed to be a part of something again because football didn't happen for me. But I had a great time in college, but it didn't happen. I was kind of lost. So I said, let me join the military. My grandma was like, what are you doing? You went to college. Now you're going to join the military. What are you going to get out of it? I said, I need structure again. I need somebody telling me what to do. So I went back into the military, did my service, completed, come home, no job. I go to the VA, wait 12 hours, nothing happens. I go again, and I'm looking for work. Finally, I find a job. And, I became a plumber, and I said, this is going to be lucrative. I was good with my hands. I always helped people, when I was doing plumbing, because when you think of it, a plumber comes to your house, you don't know who he is. A person comes to our building, you don't know who he is. And now I wasn't an upsell plumber. Oh, you need a toilet, you need a sink, you need this. I was like, how can I help you? And a lot of times I went there in the winter when it was cold, and I left when they had heat. People come here looking for services. When they leave, they may have a phone number or a lunch. Similar. I'm offering them a service. I got into using, drinking, hanging out. I thought it was cool. It was fun. It was the 80s. Discos, doing what we got to do. Kept going. Had kids. 91 and 94, the two blessings of my life. My children came. I had an ex-wife that was, awesome. She didn't use, she didn't drink or nothing, but she managed me. And I was making great money. I'd give her a certain amount, but I was a functioning addict. Many years functioning addict. But then, life changes. We make bad choices. And like I said, I went back to jail, did my stuff, came back from Florida, and I went into the outpatient program, self-involved. And I met these dynamic people at Jacoby Hospital. They have an outpatient program on the 4th floor that I just learned about harm reduction because I said, you're allowing people to use this? I said, no. They said, no, Anthony. We're giving them services so they can survive, they can live. Because the people that are not in harm reduction and are continually doing the bad habits, right now it's still early in the opioid epidemic. It's they're not living. They're dying on the streets. They're dying around the corner. Aunts and uncles are dying and you don't have Narcan under your sink. You don't have Narcan on your... And I got into Narcan training. I got into recovery codes. Then I said, wow, there's a lot of certifications I could get. I'm not the smartest guy I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, the sharpest tool in the shed. I said, but I can break walls. And, I'm a hammer. As a plumber, I could break walls. I didn't need the electric hammer because I was strong. And that was the relation I used to it. Go after the certification so it can help people and learn about yourself, because I never peeled the onion. I just kept the stuff inside. My mother passed away. I didn't cry. I stayed quiet. I stood there. The whole team walked by. They were crying. My teachers were crying. My coaches were crying. And I just stood there and I said, I got to be strong for my brother and sister. Now today, if something happens that I need to let out, I let out. When I'm nervous, I let people know. Because if I keep it inside, it's going to eat me up. And I'm tired of being eaten up. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but a lot of it is how I feel.
It's your story.
And I try to tell my sons, if you like something too much, call me, man. You have a professional in the house who's lived it. I did what I did, so you don't have to. And by God's grace, they don't get high. They don't use any drugs. And if they did, I'm there to help them, not to judge them. I judge no one in the streets. I got people coming up to me with abscess, with this. I said, listen, wound care, I'm going to help you. I'm not going to do it because that's not what I do at VIP, but what I can do is show you how to do it. And I'll show him a video and we'll sit there and the guy's cleaning it. 2 weeks later, he's got a scab. Who does that? How does that get done? It's because I got to be in the ranks with them. And I love when people come in the office and they say, hey, Anthony, I met you 5 years ago. I got 3 years clean. I go, good, man. Keep it up because I'm watching you. And I'm not. But you know what it is? It's they know somebody cares. Because I felt for a long time nobody cared. All I did was go to work, come home, bring money, and it's not enough. It wasn't enough for me because I want to hug everybody.
Well, and you said that earlier about how lonely you felt even when surrounded by people.
I told my wife one time, we'd be Sundays watching tapes, 70 of us in the room, and I was just like, man, what am I doing? It wasn't enough, the football stuff, What am I doing? Well, tonight I'm going to go party. But that's the substitutes I use. Losing my mother early, not being, we sat in a room on the 6th floor of my high school, 5 of us that had losses. Next thing you know, we're playing with a piece of paper, tossing it to each other, looking out the window. They had a teacher trying to do therapy for us. When I hear our therapist, I'm going to shout out Miss Ruth. 30-something years, Miss Ruth Smith working there. When we talk, she breaks my heart because she's in my heart. And she tells me, this is okay, Anthony, to feel like that. This is how I handle this. And I just have to listen to her because I want to hear what she has to say. And I think people come to see what we have to say. Because, we can't do it for them. The clients have to do it for themselves, but they know that.
I just wanted to ask Anthony about when you were in the military, because we never talked about this.
Yes.
When you were in the military, did you feel connected?
So connected and feeling a part of are two different things for Anthony.
Say more about that.
So as soon as I went in, they made me a leader. So now I'm in charge of people. I don't want to be in charge of people. But I did what I had to do because I signed up and that was my duty. And for those years, I would say, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. But who's telling me what to do? And I wasn't practicing what I was preaching. If I tell my son, don't drink beer and don't smoke pot, and then he catches me in the basement drinking beer, smoking pot, I'm a hypocrite. And for me, at times in the military, I felt like I was good at what I did, and all the upper staff relied on me, but I was missing something. So I thought it was the camaraderie. And then I thought it was just someone telling me what to do. I thought it was this, I thought it was that, and I was enjoying the trainings, but I said, something got to be more than this. There's something bigger and better for me out there, but I have to figure it out. So you become a plumber, 2,500 union members, you have a union. And there I go again, looking for something to guide me. But I had to guide myself later. And now I guide myself because they say, and I walk on my own tune. And I'm going to go to this, if a person that works at VIP does something that I disagree with a client, I'll sit with them and I say, would you want to be treated like that? What do you mean, Anthony? You're not my boss. I go, I don't care, but don't treat a patient like that. And I'm not saying it's happened. I'm not doing nothing bad towards anybody. Treat them the way you want to be treated, man. Because we have aunts and we have grandmothers and we have uncles. We have cousins. Come on, man. And I find that in VIP, we treat people fair. And they listen to me because they know what I'm doing. I'm doing it for the client. No ego involved. Because when you use your ego, you're easing God out. Acronym. I did that for him. Well, there's always something to do for everybody, right?
Yep.
Come on.
Well, and Debbie, what is shining so bright and what Anthony is saying is just the yearning for connection.
Yeah.
And feeling that with each other, feeling that with the people in front of us, that people have different titles, their coworker, their family member, their client, but that yearning for connection is such a consistent theme. And also it feels like it's part of VIP's culture to really find that place of connection. Yeah.
We break bread together. And we don't get to do that with my aunts and uncles no more because some of them passed. My grandmother died at 99 years old, and she told me a week before she's going to die, "I'm going to die, Anthony, on my birthday." I said, "What?" I went to wake her up because she lived with me the last 10 years of her life, and she had passed away. And I said, "She's at peace. She's not suffering. She don't have to run to the bathroom and have us help her. She's okay."
Wow.
At that age, I was able to do it. At 15, I wasn't when my mother passed because I didn't understand why they took her away from us. Big difference.
Let's talk about mental well-being. At National Council, we really, invite conversation about mental well-being and what it means for each of us. For me, it's really about living into what my heart and mind and body and soul really are calling for, what they need, instead of leaning away from it and hiding from that. And it's also about connection with loved ones and being really present. So I'd love to hear from each of you. Debbie, maybe we can start with you. What does mental well-being mean for you?
Sure. And that's great. I love what it means to you. For me, it's balance and connection. So I share the connection with you. It's beyond connecting with families, though. For me, it's connecting with the universe, connecting with nature, connecting with people in general. People in need, people who have, people who don't have, and finding balance in what I do and how I present myself, just being balanced at all times.
I love that. Anthony, how about for you? Mental well-being.
I love when you say balance because when I was active, there was no balance. I would just do, surviving. Whether I made a lot of money or a little money, there was no, cohesiveness to it. Like I look at the ocean and I see the water going, I'm like, wow, today I could look at the ocean and look at that and not get what's my next step. I can say, I see how it moves. What's its next step? It doesn't know, but it does it anyway. Now I kind of know my next step, but I try not to step on my own toes, talk out of turn. Because talking out of turn is you getting yourself confused again. And I learned from working at VIP with Miss Mailing, self-care. Anthony, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of anybody. And when I feel down, I have to say, today I'm going to stay home. And I'm going to work on myself and just try to write a letter to myself because, that judge on People's Court, she writes, if you write it down, you get it off your chest. That's a mental health tip for someone. And I learned it in a training. So now I write it down, and I get up, and my girlfriend goes, "What are you doing?" She's an ex-cop. So I say, you're the most humble person I know. She goes, "No, but when I had to be tough, I learned how to be tough." Anthony, you're very resilient. I go, "No, I'm not. I'm a punk. This is why I did these bad decisions." And she explains it to me. And, like we talked about, she's my angel. But also we're friends. And I didn't have friends prior. And I look forward to meeting people and talking to them and saying, you got to I don't say gotta, I say, I recommend that you do it this way because it worked for me. But if you can, we can figure out a way that'll work for you. We got time. Then people go, "Oh, I know I'm telling my story in the park and there's too many people. They tell me about that stuff." I go, "There's two of us here. Just sit down. I can listen to what you got to say. I'm not going to agree with everything you say, but I'm not going to give you bad advice. Because bad advice is zero advice. And there's enough of that going on."
Anthony,
yes?
Congratulations again on the award. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. I'm National Council. Thank you.
Yeah, and Debbie Ann, thank you to you as well. You're a National Council board member. You're a CEO, local leader. You've shared so much with us today about your vision, VIP's vision, impact in the community. And I'm so grateful to both of you for joining us.
Thank you, Mohini. And just one last thing, and I'll let you close. I won't close for you, is, I want people with mental illness or substance use disorder to understand that these are only illnesses. They are no different than having diabetes or hypertension. And so seeking care is so important. And to families who are suffering because your family members have these illnesses, they are only illnesses that need to be treated.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie Ann. And thanks everyone for joining today. Look forward to the next Wellbeing Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you.